All right, let's get right into it and talk about the risk of thyroid medication masking. So, many people don't know this, but women are 3 to 5 times more likely than males to develop thyroid issues, specifically hypothyroidism. And oftentimes, women are getting a medication such as Synthroid or levothyroxine, which is not necessarily a bad thing to kind of get you out of a pinch. But the problem is, this is becoming our only viable solution for women when this in reality doesn't fix anything and can actually lead to more problems down the road. But what actually is at the root cause of thyroid dysfunction to begin with? Well, most commonly we start seeing some deficiencies. Women are seeing issues with selenium or iodine or zinc or iron or other nutrients like that they're just not able to absorb on a routine basis. And so your gut health is super important to ensure that your body is actually giving your thyroid what it needs, making sure you're getting sufficient amino acids, making sure you're actually getting these things past your cell membrane is more difficult than just, sometimes taking a supplement or even eating healthy food. We have to start getting at the root cause of your gut health dysfunction. But about 80% of women have thyroid dysfunction, hypothyroidism issues, specifically due to autoimmunity, meaning that the body is attacking itself, specifically the thyroid. And so when this starts to happen, again, whether it's coming through your gut or maybe you have a chronic viral infection such as EBV or a different potential low gradual simmering infection, whatever it is, it can all start to lead to a dysfunction that affects your thyroid. And this is, a big problem. And so providing something like a medication allows for these symptoms to be masked and allows this problem to fester and become worse. And again, this is a significant issue of med masking that we're trying to talk about here, that if you just take a medication, you're going to feel okay. You're going to be able to get through your day. It's kind of like drinking caffeine. It kind of suppresses the receptors that are trying to communicate to you that you're tired. The same is true with your thyroid. It's like, you're not able to make sufficient amount of T4. And so your body is needing a synthetic form of it instead of just fixing the reason that you can't make T4. And now, obviously, if you have, health conditions, if you have a thyroidectomy or something that has been removed or you had cancer in the past, this doesn't necessarily apply to you because you're going to need the synthetic form of medication because you're unable to produce it. But for most women, this is not the issue. And this is what I want to talk about here because the medications, levothyroxine and Synthroid, though they are, the same kind of medication, they have different ingredients in them. But the ingredients across the board, as you can see, are not fantastic. You have cornstarch, you have sodium starch, you have a bunch of yellow dyes and aluminum lake chemicals. And these are not, the crazy thing to me about this is that if you're experiencing deficiencies or you're experiencing autoimmunity, ingesting something like this, which is supposed to help your thyroid, is actually full of the chemicals and the ingredients that, in my opinion, make your thyroid function worse. And it actually make it more difficult for you to heal from this long term. So you end up needing more and more medication as time goes on. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is to, in my opinion, I'm a functional medicine provider. We specifically deal with these kinds of issues, is to work with a functional medicine provider. Work with somebody that knows and understands how to start getting at the root cause of these specific issues so you can actually start to fix the problem and start to see a reduction in your medication over time and hopefully get to where it's gone altogether. And then we want to implement, we want to use information and use the right information, because I always say information without implementation is useless, because if we're not taking what we're learning and applying it and seeing results, we're not really learning at all. And so I always say you want to work with somebody that gives you the right information, that helps you implement it on a consistent basis, and that you have the ability to ask some questions, the ability to kind of keep moving forward instead of just kind of going back and forth all the time and not truly making any real progress. And then obviously once you start making implementation changes, you then want to retest down the road to see if the medication that you're on is providing too much of a dosage. Because oftentimes what I've seen working with my clients is, the doctor prescribes them, levothyroxine, they start seeing a lot of progress, and now all of a sudden they start becoming, a little bit restless, they start getting a little anxious, they're having trouble sleeping, because the medication dose is actually too high for them now and they need a lower dose. And as time goes on, the idea is to safely wean off or wean down on these dosages with, obviously working in conjunction with your primary care to get them to where you're only needing a little bit or maybe nothing at all. And so the way that I do it in my program is we provide a meal plan for you. Like, this to me is a really big key, because the meal plan that we've created is designed to help with your immune system to be lessened, to not be so hyperactive, to be so on guard, and start to allow your thyroid to get a break and to start healing and start producing its own natural T4 so that you don't need to take a synthetic form of it. And then we want to start focusing on your energy, getting good sleep, making sure your mitochondrial function is up to supply, and it can actually give your body what it needs on a routine basis, so that you're not needing to, again, provide a synthetic form of this thyroid hormone that is allowing you to kind of get through, but it allows all the pre-existing root cause problems to continue to get worse over time. And then we want to make sure that you have access to me or to the other experts in the team, that you are able to reach out to us 24/7. You get answers to your questions as time goes on, and you're not waiting 6 weeks to go talk to your doctor or to kind of get in for an appointment. We've created an app for this whole process for our program, that you can get the information you need, that you get help with implementation as it's needed, and you see results. That's really the whole goal of this, so you can go and live an active life. So typically the results that we see within our program within the first 4 weeks are as shown here down below. Depending on where you're starting with your weight issue or your weight gain or your body weight to begin with, you may see a little bit less than this or a little bit more, just depending on how much weight you have to lose. But this is kind of the typical results we see within the first 4 weeks. And I'll kind of make sure you see this here, but this is without weights. This is losing weight without having to lift weights. And obviously, I'm a big fan of weightlifting down the road once your body is less inflamed, once you're making good energy, once your body's ready for it. But if you don't have any gas in the tank and you're starting to go to the gym and trying to cut calories, this is not going to bode well for your thyroid or your adrenal gland long term. So it really is not a great option. So we want to make sure that you're addressing the reasons that you feel this way first, and then start to focus on lifting weights as you're ready. And then these are just some results we typically see with energy improvement. And just kind of put this into simple terms, I put some percentages on here. We kind of calculate this based on your subjective scores that you kind of submit while you're in the program. But typically we see, somebody who normally requires a nap in the middle of the day no longer requires a nap. That's kind of like that change you see on a functional level. It's like, hey, I used to drink a cup of coffee at 2 o'clock. If I didn't have this cup of coffee, I couldn't make it till 6 o'clock. And now I don't need that cup of coffee, and I have natural energy, and I feel great. That to me is a life-changing change, because you're no longer required or reliant on supplements or on synthetic things to kind of prop you up and make you feel like you're doing something, when in reality you have no gas in the tank. So our guarantee, it's simple. If you see results, great. If you don't see results, here's your money back. And I'm even to the point to where it's like, I just want you to have confidence moving forward that this is the right fit for you. And I do not want the finances to come into play to kind of be that little voice in the back of your mind, like, oh, you can't do this. You're not capable of seeing such change. I don't think that's true. I've seen this happen with hundreds and hundreds of women, where they've come in, they've implemented the things, they've seen the changes, and they've been completely satisfied. So that's my hope for you too. And if you aren't quite there yet, that's why we have a money back guarantee. So if you want to apply, obviously this is kind of our requirements. You must be a woman, 35 years and older. You have to be motivated. Clearly, you have to have a certain level of desperation. Whether you figured out, like, you got to do it for your kids, you got to do it for your grandkids, you got to do it for yourself, for your spouse. What we've talked about is that if you view self-care as selfish, this isn't a good program for you, because we want you to start prioritizing your own health, and you have to put yourself first in order to put others first in real time in life. Because if you don't have the energy, if you have no gas in your tank, you cannot help the people that you need to help around you sufficiently enough. So we want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And if you don't see yourself as valuable enough for this kind of program, then this definitely won't be a good fit for you. And you want to fix the problem. We want people that are looking to solve the problems, to becoming a healthier person, not just like lose weight, not just achieve a marathon or whatever. Like, we want you to truly have a healthier person mindset across the board, because we believe that will take you the distance for the rest of your life, and that will provide much better results than just losing 20, 30 pounds. And obviously you have to be willing to make tweaks. You don't have to be willing to modify the foods you eat, or modify your sleep schedule, or modify your supplement regimen, or ask for help and reach out to community and reach out to me, like, while you're in the process. Like, you have to be willing to make tweaks and be able to share your struggles and your success as it starts to come along. So the way that we do this is application only. I'm going to be showing you how you can click the link to apply, and then you simply fill out a few questions. There's like a hormonal balance quiz you kind of fill out. Then there's a few questions related to you and your mindset, and then you simply schedule a call with me. It's 15 minutes long. Before you schedule that call, please be sure to read through all the details of the program before you do that. So you know about the cost, you know about what it's entailed, and then you make sure that you're doing the right thing and that this is a good fit for you. So as you can see down here, you can just simply click the link in my bio. You then click on apply to the program, and you're in. You fill out the questions, you schedule the call, and you make sure, again, that this is a good fit for you. And if it's not a good fit and you're just wanting to kind of browse a little bit more and you're kind of a little bit more unsure about me, maybe you just start to follow me. I have the Active Life app, which is a free app I've provided to you. It's completely free. You download it, you sign up for the 9-step reset program. That's free at this time. And you get started and you can start seeing exactly how I like to do things, my style, kind of how I address things. And again, that information is free. And that's just to kind of get the ball rolling for you in your health and hopefully see if this would be a good fit for you to apply to my program. But if you want to just apply the program and kind of jump right into it, if you like what I've said so far, you can definitely apply to the program right off the bat and get started with the Active Life program and go from there. So I really appreciate you being here today. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section. Feel free to message me directly. But otherwise, have a blessed day and we'll talk later.